Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment's 32 teams, 32 days, and today we are talking about the New York Jets, and we are about to have a very interesting conversation. As I am not high on the New York Jets, but there are sure to be some Jets fans in the comment section below that tell me that this team is a sleeper, they could even go to the playoffs, and all a bunch of foolishness like that. It's about to be real interesting, man. We're going to talk about this team, look at their strengths, look at their weaknesses, look at some bold predictions for this team, look at my fantasy outlook for this team, look at my win-loss prediction for the New York Jets. Remember to head over to sportsfanentertainment.com for the article previewing the New York Jets. Okay, Jets fans, can we just be honest today? Your team is really not that good, but there is a strength to this football team, and it is the defensive line featuring Leonard Williams. Okay, the former top pick out of the 2015 NFL draft. I think the Jets took him at the number 6 overall spot, and we all knew he did not deserve to fall that low, and he's proven that. He's been really good. I felt he should have been taken number 3 overall in that draft, and as time moves on, you're seeing more and more of that. He made his first Pro Bowl last season. I expect more Pro Bowls to come. He was already making an impact in the preseason game against the Tennessee Titans, getting a sack and also creating pressure and getting run stuffs. Leonard Williams is an absolute beast for this defensive front, but they still have Sheldon Richardson, okay, who for some reason they want to trade. Okay, I don't know why. I know he has some character issues, some behavioral issues, but without him, man, your team's going to be even worse. But, I mean, come on, man. This is a good player right here, formerly of the 2013 NFL draft, which is just horrible. It's a terrible draft, but he's one of the few gems out of that draft. Now, they still have Muhammad Wilkerson, who struggled last year, but he was coming off of a broken fibula the year before, never really got healthy, never really got right. I expect a bounce back year from Mr. Mo Wilkerson, and they also have some decent depth here when you look at Steve McLendon, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. He's on this defensive front. I like him as well on this defensive front. So the defensive line is definitely a strength for this football team. It's the only strength for this football team. Okay, we look at the weaknesses for this football team, and there's a lot. Okay, we must start at the quarterback position. Jets fans, it stinks, okay? And it's an argument because we don't really know what to expect from these guys like Hackenberg, whom we've never seen. So I understand why some Jets fans want to debate that. But guys, it stinks. Okay, let's start with Bryce Petty because he has no shot, right? He can't even win the starting job in camp. I said last year, and I'm sticking by this, Bryce Petty's the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a quarterback worse than Bryce Petty that has at least started an NFL game. I haven't seen it. And if you don't believe me, watch as he may not even make this team. Okay, his NFL career, 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, a passer rating of 60 in 2016. That is awful. That is terrible. It does not get worse than that in this day and age. This is not 1970 where you can throw a pass rating of 60 and be really, really bad. This is 2017 where if you have a pass rating of 60, I want to throw up. Okay, that's how bad that is because look at passer ratings in the NFL now. To be an average quarterback, your pass rating is like 89. Bryce Petty's 60. Awful, awful, awful Bryce Petty. Okay, then we also have Christian Hackenberg, who was honestly pretty awful at Penn State. I don't know why the Jets took him in the second round, and they knew he was awful. That's why they kept him on the bench. They didn't even want to play him in practice because they just wanted to shelter this guy because they knew he was awful. His preseason game, the stats were okay, but he only averaged about 5 yards per attempt. You're not going to win games with that. Hackenberg stinks. He's way too inaccurate. Footwork is erratic, to say the least. He's not good, and you're going to see that this season. Josh McCown, 38 years old. Happy birthday to you. You stink. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year for the Cleveland Browns. His career is coming to an end, and he's going to start this year, but he won't finish. Man, the Jets quarterback situation, it's the worst in the league, period. It's the worst in the league. People, come on, please. And speaking of the worst in the league, the Jets also have the worst wide receiver position in the league. And this was solidified after the injury to Quincy Enunwa. Now, Enunwa, I wasn't even the biggest fan of him last year. I'm not sure he's the number 1 wide receiver in this league, but now he's gone, okay? He's out for the entire year with a neck injury, some sort of bulging disc out of his neck. Dear God. Okay, so now we're talking about Robby Anderson leading the pack. We are in trouble, folks. And apparently, I've been reading these Jets reporters. In fact, let's listen to this Jets reporter real quick from the SNY, I believe, as he explains how awful the wide receivers have been in Jets training camp.
In practice, the quarterback position has actually been not the worst position on the field. In fact, it's probably a pretty decent second. The Jets receiving unit right now has left much to be desired thus far in practice. There really isn't much. Jerome Peak, Jalen Marshall, and Robby Anderson, three rookies from 2016 who played pretty big roles, haven't really shown any signs that they've taken a step forward here in 2017. And the fact that this receiving unit has been so terrible thus far in practice, it's not doing the quarterbacks any help. You got guys dropping passes left, right, and sideways. You've got guys running wrong routes, and there's only so much the quarterbacks can do with it.
Okay, so they've been awful. Don't take my word for it. Take this guy's word for it who's been watching these Jets practices. They've been terrible. They've been awful. Of course, you have Robby Anderson, our Darius Stewart, who's a third-round pick out of Alabama. He can't stay healthy right now. He's young. Chad Hansen. Who do they have? It's the worst wide receiver, not only in the league right now, but it might be the worst I've ever seen. Just nothing but unproven talents everywhere. They stink. The wide receiver position is a joke. Okay, you have guys like Lucky Whitehead, who's more unlucky nowadays. Sharon Peak. Who are these people? They signed Kenbrell Tompkins, who hasn't been relevant for 4 years. The Jets wide receivers stink. Okay, so we move on to their tight ends, which actually could end up being decent, but right now I have to say weakness. Okay, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Perhaps this guy is going to resurrect his career, and I think that he will, but he has not been good. Okay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were begging him to be good. They took him, I believe, in the second round of the 2013 NFL draft, and he never really was any good. Maybe it was even 2014 or 15. I can't remember. The point is, he's been a perennial disappointment for that team. So we have to see what he does this year before we think this tight end position is anything more than a weakness right now for the New York Jets. Okay, and we also have another weakness at the linebacker positions, the whole linebackers, every single one of the linebackers to me. The best linebacker in the unit is Jordan Jenkins. He's the outside linebacker, whom I like, but he's not a big-time pass rusher, only 2.5 sacks last season in his rookie year. You expect more this upcoming year, but will he even break 6 or 7? Probably not. Lorenzo Malden, formerly out of Louisville, hasn't really made an impact. Inside linebackers, Darren Lee. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a decent sophomore year. Rookie campaign was not that impressive. I think he's going to be better. Demario Davis, come on. We already know what this guy is. He's not that impressive at this point. You traded away Davis Harris, or you released him, actually. That was foolish. He was easily your best linebacker. Now he's gone. The linebackers in New York, just not very impressive right now. Spencer Paysinger also here. Bruce Carter also here. Linebackers not impressive in New York. We move on to the positions that are neither strengths nor weaknesses to me. Let's start with the running backs, because I know some people argue that the running back should have been a strength. And I almost put them there, but my rule when it comes to strengths is the strength for your football team has to be above the other positions on your roster, which running back is, and significantly above. And moreover than that, it has to be at least league average in the league, okay? It just has to be at least league average in terms of production, in terms of talent, in terms of quality. This is not true for the New York Jets. This will not be an average running back unit this year. I don't project. Okay, there's a lot of good running games in the NFL right now, and I don't think the Jets will be league average. But with that said, Bilal Powell, Matt Forte, it's a decent duo. Okay, for Tom Brady, this would be great. For Aaron Rodgers, it'd be great. But for Christian Hackenberg and Josh McCown, it's not very good, right? You'd prefer to have a LaShawn McCoy. You'd prefer to have a DeMarco Murray. You'd prefer to have even a Leonard Fournette. You'd prefer to have even a Dalvin Cook, someone more young, more exciting. Bilal Powell had a nice year last year, 5.5 yards per carry, but that seemed like fool's gold, man. Especially now that the offense won't be able to move the football consistently. You don't expect him to get over 5 again, so I'm expecting 4, maybe even less, because the team is just going to stink offensively. So good luck running the football. All right, so anyway, Matt Forte can't stay healthy right now. Again, having hamstring issues. Seems like he has hamstring issues every year. His legs are just wearing down at this point. He's having knee issues as well. I like the running backs. I think they're fine, but I can't say they're a strength. Although for you, it's definitely your second best position. Also, your third best position, I'd say, could be your safeties. Although they could end up being the second best. You look at Jamal Adams. Okay, your first round draft pick. Okay, now let's talk about something positive. I love Jamal Adams. This guy's going to be a beast. And even though I'm okay and I'm pretty happy that the Titans took Corey Davis, I'm a Titans fan, with the 5th overall pick, I still would have slightly preferred Jamal Adams because I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer, honestly, coming out of this draft. But next team is Marcus May, okay, who you took in the second round. It was a bit of a reach. And as a rookie, he probably won't be great. He'll probably be, at best, decent. So you have a decent safety and a really good safety. You know, that could end up being a strength, but we'll see. I can't say quite yet, although I'm encouraged by this unit. Also, look at the cornerbacks. You know, some people say weakness. I think it's definitely not very good. It's definitely below average, but I don't think it's one of the worst in the league. Offensive line, I think it's not as bad as some people think it is. Last year, they gave up 35 sacks. Brandon Shell barely played last year. Now he's going to play more at right tackle. I like him. Brian Winters and James Carpenter, they're actually a decent guard combination. Don't love Johnson in the middle there. Nick Johnson, or Wesley Johnson, the center for this offensive line. I don't love him. Kelvin Beachum, he's had some nice years. Last year was not good at all, but he's had some nice years. So I think this offensive line can end up being quite decent for the New York Jets. So we move on to my fantasy projections for this football team. Man, it's not good, especially for the quarterback position. So I think Christian Hackenberg will lead the way. Where he's leading them, I don't know. But I have him down for 9 games, 1,650 passing yards, 8 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Okay, this is bad. Extrapolated to a 16-game season, this would be equivalent to about 15 touchdowns, about 23 interceptions, and about 3,000 passing yards. Okay, so I'm not very optimistic about Christian Hackenberg at all. We look at running back Bilal Powell. Okay, so, he could end up getting 1,000 yards, but I only have him down for 210 carries, 820 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Again, I think his yards per carry last year was fool's gold. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think we kind of knew what Bilal Powell was, and then last season he just has some sort of a resurgence that I really don't understand to this point. Maybe he's really improved with his vision and whatnot, but let me see another year of that. It was a small sample size last year, only 137 carries. So I have him down for this. Let's see what he does this year. And then wide receiver Robby Anderson. I guess he leads the pack. He's probably going to outproduce also Seferian-Jenkins, although I do like Jenkins this year, Seferian-Jenkins. Anderson, I have him down for 60 catches, 750 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Here's the funny thing about the NFL. Even though their quarterback position, the Jets, will stink, okay? At worst, they're going to get 2,900 passing yards. So someone's going to end up being kind of valuable in fantasy, although you still won't like starting them. And I think it's going to be Anderson and maybe Seferian-Jenkins. So look out for that. We move on to my bold predictions for this team. They're not very bold because, come on. How creative can we be with this team? Jamal Adams finishes top 3 in Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not that bold. We kind of all expect that. But I don't think he wins, though. I think players that get sacks tend to win this award, so I think he's going to miss out. Also, Seferian-Jenkins has a career resurgence. He saves his career because his career before coming to New York was really, really in jeopardy, but now he saves it. And bold prediction number 3, Mike Maccagnan, Todd Bowles, done. Fired, gone, see you later, bye. Okay, no need to keep these guys. Although Bowles, I don't think he's a bad head coach. The Jets are rebuilding, man. Okay, see you later. So we move on to the schedule for the New York Jets. And you know what? It's actually not that bad of a schedule. But the problem is you're worse than every single team. Like, what we must understand about the New York Jets is this. And also, Jets fans, just consider this. I know whenever you're a team, or whenever you're a fan of a team like the Jets, or the Titans, or the Bills, or the Colts, or the Patriots, or the Vikings, what you tend to do is you only focus on your own team, maybe the teams in your division, but you don't actually pay attention to the teams that stink in this world. And you don't know what a stinking team really looks like. So the Cleveland Browns last year, they went 1-15. Okay, I know you think that they were absolutely horrible, that they had no talent, that they had nothing, that your team was better than them. But think about it for a second. Okay, their quarterback position, was it equal or worse or better than what you currently have? Equal, okay? They had Josh McCown, you had Josh McCown. In fact, they had RG3, who I'd argue is better than anyone that you currently have in Hackenberg and Petty. But whatever, okay? And Cody Kessler also. So I'd argue the Browns better, but whatever. Running back position, about equal. Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, pretty equal to Bilal Powell, Matt Forte. In fact, I'd take Crowell and Johnson. Wide receivers, theirs were better. Terrell Pryor, Corey Coleman, better than what you currently have. Wait a minute. And also their offensive line, hey, they have Jarrell Batonio, Joe Thomas, the left tackle, all pro for years upon years upon years. The Browns' offense last year was better than what y'all are trotting out now. Don't think just because the Browns went 1-15 and you weren't paying attention to them that, oh yeah, we have a better roster than them, we're going to be better than them. No. Okay? Teams that stink actually have talent. And this team that's going to stink in the Jets actually has talent. Jamal Adams, Leonard Williams, Muhammad Wilkerson, Sheldon Richardson. But you're still not close to the rest of the NFL, and that's the difference. So, we're not going to look at the schedule division by division because it's pointless. What I will tell you is the games that you could win, and that's it. Okay, so luckily for you, you're in the porous AFC East. That I think is going to be worse this year than in years past. I don't like the Bills right now. I don't like the Dolphins right now with Jay Cutler, and they're going to regress to me anyway. You could be one of them, okay? In fact, I'm predicting right now that you will beat one of them. Which one, I don't know. If I had to put my money on it, I'd say Buffalo. But maybe Miami if Jay Cutler gives you guys some nice interceptions. You guys also host the Jags, who could choke to you. I don't think that they would, though, because they have a lot more talent than you, but okay. That's it. Also, one more, actually. You host the LA Chargers in Week 16, who gave the Browns their only win last year, okay? And it's in New York. You could win this game. But there's no other game on this schedule you could win. Okay, you face the AFC West. There's not a game in there you could win other than the Chargers. You face the NFC South. No way. No way. The Saints are the worst team, and at worst, they'll be 6-10. They'll at least be 7-9, most likely. No way. You're not beating the Patriots, so forget about it. And you guys also face, again, the Browns, whom you travel to. The Browns are better than y'all. The Browns are better than y'all. Man, they were better than y'all last year. Like, and their roster last year is better than your roster this year. Forget about that to me. I mean, you could if the Browns really decide to choke that game, but I don't see that. And you guys also go up against a team from the AFC, whatever. The AFC South and the Jags, who, again, maybe you could beat, but I doubt it. So, best case scenario, I could be wrong on this team. And not necessarily me being wrong on this team, let me rephrase that. Best case scenario, there are superstars here in the waiting that we just don't see. So Christian Hackenberg is way better than we anticipate. Robby Anderson, way better than we anticipate. Ardarius Stewart's a really good rookie. Chad Hansen's really good. You know, these unknown names end up being really good. Okay, Darren Lee becomes maybe a really good linebacker. Perhaps Morris Claiborne becomes a shutdown corner. Perhaps Leonard Williams, really becomes one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, becomes like Aaron Donald. This is possible. Best case scenario, I'll say 5-11. Worst case scenario, 0-16. Because the problem is, what's today's NFL? It's a passing league. You have the worst quarterbacks in the league, and you have the worst wide receivers in the league. This is not good. Okay, this is bad to have that come. And not only the worst in today's NFL, it could be the worst ever. I mean, well, at least the worst I've seen. I mean, people, this is bad, people. And my prediction is 1-15, and which is going to be the one win, I can't tell you. I think you're going to end up getting it. Like, if you saw the preseason game, the Jets had a decent first quarter against the Titans. Now, the Titans would have still won that game, but it was a decent first quarter. One day, Leonard Williams is going to make an impact. Jamal Adams is going to make an impact, and they're going to win one game. It could be against the Jazz, could be against the Dolphins, could be against the Bills, could be against the Chargers. But I can't tell you which one. And you guys will secure the number one pick. And then after that, next year, you guys could be better. But it's going to require a lot of work, new GM, new coach, a bunch of new stuff. The Jets, as I will keep saying for this entire season, sorry Jets fans, y'all stink. And trust me, I know, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I just went through two horrible seasons in 2014 and 2015. We went 2-14 and 3-13. Okay, I understand. But you gotta admit, the Jets stink. Okay, so there you go. Those are my thoughts on the New York Jets. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.